Hi, my name's Mary Booth. I run a MyMag business. I started the first one, OL3, Saddleworth Monthly, in 2005. I then added a second when the original owner emigrated, and I've more recently launched a third one as well.
My name's Carole Aldred and I live in Bolton up in the northwest, and I've bought a number of postcodes now from MyMag. I mean, we wanted to be around for our children. At the time that we started the business 4 years ago, it's almost 5 years ago now, the children were all at school and we still wanted to work from home so it could be here for them. And we found that the MyMag was very flexible, that we could work, even if one of the children were ill and they were off school and they needed some care, we could, have a day off work and make up in the evening if we wanted to, or just catch up the day after. So it's very flexible for both of us, and it's meant that we can spend time together, we can go out for lunch together when we want to, and see our friends when we want to.
The two things I would say I most enjoy, obviously you're running it as a business, but it is really very rewarding when all the small businesses and small trades say, this is great, I've had such a good response, this has really helped my business. I find that very worthwhile, and also I do an awful lot to promote all the local clubs and groups, societies in our area. And when they say, oh, we've got new members, or we had a fundraising evening and normally we get 20 people and we put it in your magazine and 70 people came and it was fantastic. So I find that very rewarding too.
The startup costs are really quite low because I recouped my initial investment within the first 2 months, and after that it was all pure profit. Well worth every penny, absolutely well worth it. So much so I've gone on to buy more and more and more postcodes because initially, now I can recoup it in a month. It's very easy to do that. It's not like a business, that you can go and buy that might cost 20 grand, 30 grand, and it takes you a year or 2 or 5 years to pay back. This is something that just takes a couple of months. So, it's a no-brainer.
I would say you can do it from either angle. If you come from full hours, full-time job, you can probably put more commitment into it straight away. But it is something that you can get going, possibly on a more gradual slope if you're trying to juggle other things, because the workload does become easier over time. Obviously the first magazine is the hardest because you've got nothing. After some while, a lot of the adverts are repeats. There's not as much work involved as time goes on, but you add them in, so you find the magazine gets bigger, but you're not actually doing any more work or as the first one.
There is an awful lot of support from head office, and the packet of information that was received I was really impressed with because it covers every single thing that you might want, right down to the last paperclip even. It tells you everything that you need to buy to set up your system, every piece of information that you need to start out making your first calls. There's also a lot of people like myself that have been quite successful at MyMag, who are more than willing to help people. There's a forum there where you can go on there and ask lots of questions.
When I look at my first magazine now compared to the current one, you really can't believe it's the same publication. It was 28 pages, it was all black and white, and really it looks like the parish magazine. But having said that, as I said, I covered my print costs and I made, I did make a profit on it of, several hundred. And as I say, I set it up without doing, still doing other work as well. I also, from making the first phone call to getting it out was, yes, as you say, three and a half weeks. So you can start it up and turn it out quite quickly.
To be quite honest with you, you don't need experience. If you've got the will to do it and the determination to see things through, then you'll do it. You don't particularly need any skills. As long as you can speak to people and you've got the right attitude, that's all that matters really, because I haven't done anything like this before, and we really looked at, we looked at magazines and thought, can we do this? Can we produce a magazine? Because it was completely, something I'd never even thought of. And if I hadn't have seen it online, when I put in work from home and MyMag popped up, I would never have even dreamed of doing a magazine. It was quite away from my experience levels at the time. In fact, I couldn't even work a computer properly at the time, so it's not ashamed to admit that, but I'm quite good at it now.
I had one of my daughters went round to a new friend's house and she changed schools, and she came back and she said, oh, Mum, when I got there, she said there were all your magazines in a little pile on the kitchen inside, and this lady had said, oh no, I always keep these are really handy. And she said, actually that's my mum. And she said, oh, it was really nice really. And someone said, your mother does that, gosh, how amazing. So no, it's nice.